I don't even know. I'm gonna stop saying that this is gonna trigger you guys because everything I say is going to trigger you guys, and that's half the fun.
You see money all around me. I look like I'm the man.
Hey Rain Gang, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Jayla Mitchell, also known as NaturalReign, and I would love it if you would go down there, press that subscribe button. It's in like a shape of a square and it's red. Just click on that and then go ahead and click on the notification bell to the side of it so you'll never miss when I post another video. So today I'm doing a video on why your hair regimen is trash. And I told you I'm not holding back. You guys know I never hold back anyway, but this video is going to be especially fun because I'm not holding back. Like, this is a tough love type of video. I know that not everything I say applies to every single person. That would just be unrealistic, absurd, ludicrous. And a lot of these are super exaggerated, but the base of it still remains the same. So if you notice that you're doing any of these things and you feel like you have a top-notch regimen, I'm here to tell you that you probably need to do some changes. This is just me putting it out there, things that I've seen, I've noticed about other people's regimens that I'm like, whoa there, what you doing? Okay? I know y'all can't tell, but I am sitting crisscross applesauce. Like, the tea that I have, I'm just so ready to spill it. I'm so ready to spill it over everybody. So I really hope you guys enjoy this video, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up, even if I triggered you. Especially if I triggered you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and like get into the video. So I wrote stuff down because, like I said, stuff like this really does excite me. Like, I just get the chills all over. So I wrote it down, call me extra, whatever, but also mention that I'm prepared while you at it. The first thing I want to mention is just because you have a hair regimen doesn't mean it's a good one. You could just be going absolutely nowhere really fast. Somebody had to tell you. I'm glad I got to be the one to do it. Number one, you're following somebody else's hair regimen. What you doing, sis? We all got different hair. This is supposed to be your regimen. And while you're at it, you're ignoring what your hair is actually saying, and it's pissed about it. Like, you think it didn't know, it's upset. Your hair is saying you need to do certain things, and you're so busy following somebody else's hair regimen that your hair is suffering. So I'm not saying that you can't take pointers from other people's hair regimen. In fact, I recommend it. But once you see that certain things aren't having the same response that it's having for someone else, I think it might be time to switch it up. And that's straight up. And I understand you're thinking because it works for someone else, it'll work for you too. And sometimes that's true. Most of the time it's not, because we all have different hair types, different hair textures, different density, different thickness. There's so many things that go into it. I'm just saying, I wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket following every single thing in someone's regimen. You can look at their regimen and try to make adjustments. Think about how your hair reacts to things. You can do that, by all means. I definitely recommend it. But as far as taking somebody's regimen and calling it the best thing ever and just holding on to it and being so afraid to let it go, it's hurting you. It's hurting you more than it's doing you good. So just remember that when creating your hair regimen, make sure it's your hair regimen, because your hair won't notice. So number two is rethink the way you think about protective styles. And I just know I'm gonna trigger some people with this one, so let's go ahead. Y'all be so pressed. Oh, I have my hair in a bun, it's wrapped up tight, my ends are safe. But sis, your edges are not safe. It ain't safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe. It ain't safe, is what I'm saying. Like, it's not safe. No matter how nice and wrapped up your ends are, it's not a protective style if it's pulling your scalp so hard you can't think straight. You haven't formed a coherent thought in weeks, sis. In weeks. But the hair's protected, right? No, that hair's not even protected. So what are you doing? All jokes aside, and I know I got a lot of jokes, for real, I really just want y'all to think about it. I'm not saying don't do protective bun styles, but try not to make it so tight that you get a headache. Like, that's a real thing. People really do get headaches off of these buns. And try not to make your hair so tight that your scalp is hurting. Like, number three, you have a great hair regimen, but you only follow it half the time. I know you have to see the problem with that. If you're not doing it all the time, it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not sticking with it, what you doing? You might as well not have a regimen. And the truth is, you cannot be mad about not getting consistent results when you're not putting in that consistent effort. And that's more than just a hair lesson, that's a life lesson. I'm dropping that knowledge. So let the record show that saying you're gonna deep condition every week and actually doing it are two different things, and you're not fooling anybody, especially your hair. If you needed a wake-up call, here I am. Stop cutting corners. All right, so number 4. You're using 27,000 different products, so you can't tell what your hair actually likes and what it doesn't respond well to. You're lost. If you stop doing one thing in your regimen, it's over. It's over. You don't know what's going on. It's not okay. Chill out on the products, figure out what your hair really, really likes, what it doesn't like, and act accordingly. If you're using 27,000 products, first off, product buildup is a whole different story, but you don't know. You don't know what's working. You gotta use every single thing, because if you don't use one, you don't know if that could be the product that made your hair amazing, because you don't know what's going on. You're lost, and you're trying to hide it under 27,000 products. So stop. At a certain point, enough is enough. You can't use all the products that you love at one time. Come on, pick a couple, dang. I think chill out with using 27,000 products and actually figure out what your hair responds well to and what it doesn't respond well to. It's time to dwindle it down. It's time to cut some off. It's time to never call back some of them. It's time to stop texting them. It's time to let go. All right, so number 5 kind of goes along with number 4, and that is you're styling your hair with too many products and you have a moisture overload. Like your hair is taking on too much. It doesn't know what's going on, it's lost. And the crazy thing is, when you moisturize your hair too much, your hair has too much going on, and now instead of feeling moisturized, it feels brittle, almost as if you didn't even moisturize it at all. Isn't that kind of ironic? Like, you did all of that stuff to moisturize your hair just so it can be too packed in with product, not receive any of the product anymore, and then just become brittle anyway. As a natural, and just as a person who has hair on their head, you need to cleanse it. You know that, right? You need to cleanse it. It's a pretty well-known fact. Don't fight me on it just yet. If you're shampooing your hair and you're really getting in there and you're using your nails, not the pads of your fingers, but your nails, you're doing damage. And how do you expect your hair to grow and to see length if you're damaging where your hair grows from? Like, you're damaging the foundation for healthy hair. Healthy scalp, healthy hair. Number 7, you're so stuck on having a set regimen, like the perfect set. This is what I do every single week. This is what I do every single day. Before wash day, this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. You're so set in that way that you don't even bother to listen to what your hair is telling you. If your hair is saying, I'm dry, it's time to bump up that wash day. I know that maybe you wash your hair every week. It's time to bump up that wash day so that your hair can get the moisture that it's asking for. So every week, okay, until your hair says, I'm dry, I'm brittle, and I feel like I almost want to break off, just to teach you a lesson. When your hair says that, it's wash day, or you need to re-moisturize. Listen to the signs. Just like if your hair started getting a lot of dandruff, you know that you need to cleanse it. That's how it is. If your hair starts to get really dry, you know it's time to re-moisturize. You know it's time to put that moisture back into it. It doesn't matter if it's wash day, deep condition day, whatever it is. You're gonna make this happen because your hair demands it. Y'all, I know I'm so dramatic, but like, I can't help it. So number 8 is, you've been holding on to your damaged ends for so long that it doesn't matter what your hair regimen is. It doesn't matter because it's just breaking off. You're not gonna see any growth. No matter what you do, you will ultimately fail because you're holding on to those dead ends, and those dead ends are holding on to you and killing all your hair. Don't start thinking that just because, I'm holding on to these ends so I can see length. You won't see length. You won't see length for a long time. And then your ends will start to split up, and you'll have to cut even more off by the time you actually do decide that this is something that needs to happen. So if not cutting your hair or not having someone cut your hair is a part of your regimen, I highly suggest that you revisit that and you reconsider. And lastly, but certainly not least, you've been buying cheap products and you didn't think your hair would notice. And when I say cheap products, I don't mean necessarily that all inexpensive products are terrible for your hair, but I will say that dollar conditioner that you got from the dollar store probably doesn't have the best ingredients in it. All those different type of alcohols, all that stuff you can't pronounce, you're not fooling anybody. Invest in your products just a little bit more. I'm not saying they have to be super expensive, but look at the ingredients and see if that aligns with what you want in your hair. You can't go from quality products to cheap products and expect to get the same results. In a perfect world, you can go with that, but we know this isn't a perfect world. Trump is president, so we know that's not true. If you made it through this whole video and you weren't triggered, proud of you. I hope this video allowed you to see what direction you should be going to achieve where you want to be. So if you're trying to grow your hair longer, stronger, have a really great regimen, I hope that this helped you see where you are. If you're doing well, you know, based off these facts, then hopefully you're like, okay, I can continue to do this and see where it goes. If you notice some things that weren't so great, then you can look at that and say, okay, this is what I can improve on so that I can have a good hair regimen, so that I can continue to do that regimen to see growth and length and all of those things and hair health. Because at the end of the day, I'm promoting healthy hair so that you can see length and all these other things that come along with having healthy hair. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.